everyone has this question. You've only talked about it one time. And I told you before we started the show, I didn't want to talk about it. Okay, I want everyone to know. I was like, yo, that's my girl. I love her. And I was like, yo, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about something else. But then you was like, no, I want to talk about it.
I said I don't mind.
Okay.
Because it's a subject.
What's happening? No capping. We with AO, about to get a plate. Oh, pull up to the table. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, fam? It's your boy Anthony O'Neal. Welcome back to the table. It's Monday. It's a special. If I could sing like this young lady, I would sing how special this Monday is. But you guys already know we keep it real, relevant, and relatable here every single Monday. And I'm so excited because we're going to get straight into it. You know, I don't want to add no fluff. You guys know what it is when you're dealing with me on Mondays here at the table. But I have one of my favorite vocalists, one of my favorite singers, one of my mother's favorite. She told me I had to say it on this show. One of my mother's favorite singers in the building today. Her name is, you all know her, Chrisette Michele. She calls herself Chrissy. But she's been through a lot over the last few years. And I've been praying for her. I've been watching her journey. And, I just reached out to her, and we jumped on a phone call. Said, yo, let's get to know each other. And I want you to come on the show. Share your story. Share your journey, because she's going to definitely encourage you all today. So before we jump into the show, before we jump into this conversation, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this video, because I don't have my laptop in here. I don't have my iPad in here. I don't have any notes. I don't have anything specific because I just want Chrisette just to be herself and just us to have a heart-to-heart conversation. And I believe it's going to bless you, and not just you, but everyone listening, everyone watching. So share this, and let's get straight into this conversation. Chrisette.
Hi.
What's up?
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, no, dude. Thank you for coming. You came all the way from, I don't want to say where you live, but you came all the way from where you live to be here in the beautiful city of Nashville with me.
It's my honor.
So let's start from who is Chrisette? Before we get into the other stuff, who are you?
A saxophone playing.
Wait. You play the saxophone for real?
Not for real, just kind of like, just kind of for real.
Okay.
So, the way you learn how to play in school.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where you watch the Blues Brothers with your dad and you're like, Daddy, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Girl Scout, cookie making.
Yeah.
Grass braiding. Arts and crafts nerd.
Yeah.
Still shops at Hobby Lobby girl. From the countryside of New York City, so right on the cusp of New York City is where I grew up. In a house with a pool and lots of kids running around. That's who I am.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think? A lot of people follow you. You're a celebrity, well known. But what is one thing people do not know about you?
How much I love to talk. How much I love to...
You love to talk, but you just said you were shy.
I'm very shy.
So you don't love to talk?
I love philosophy and philosophers. I love
true.
Thought.
Yeah.
I love the inside of the human mind. I love how the mind works.
Yeah.
And I love to see how we can master it. I love to see how we can use it. And I'm not afraid to create ideas, instructions, and go back and forth with people to see what works best. I'm a teacher at heart.
Yeah.
So I don't think people know that.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
But they know that you are a R&B singer. And when you and I were talking on the phone, you actually said something about R&B. Do you enjoy R&B music?
Never listened to it. I mean, it was just not a part of my life.
What?
I played the saxophone.
Right.
So we're finding our way to Charlie Parker and Art Blakey and Bix Beiderbecke and Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah.
By the time I made my way to R&B music, I was writing a song thinking about how I could best impersonate Mary J. Blige and Anita Baker.
For real?
It's like, what do I do to pull this off?
Yeah.
There's this episode on South Park where the black kid walks down to his basement and he finds a bass guitar. And they're like, bro, you can totally play this thing. He's like, bro, I've never played a bass guitar. That's what happened to me when I got signed. They were like, you can totally
do this.
Sing this.
Yeah.
I get in the studio, Grammy nominated, first song I wrote, first song I sang. So I was like, maybe
R&B's the move.
Maybe R&B's the move.
Wow.
And it was fun in the beginning.
So you've been doing that for what? How long now?
15 years.
15 years.
That's a long time.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you're still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a heart for the Lord. What's your thought on gospel music?
I don't have too many thoughts about gospel music, but I do hear all the opinions that circulate. And I think that gospel people are people trying to lyricize how they live their life. I don't think it's, something that we get to be so judgmental about.
Yeah.
They're just writing in their language.
Yeah. Well, so now we know a little bit about you. Let's just, everyone watching right now, everyone has this question. You've only talked about it one time. And I told you before we started the show, I didn't want to talk about it. Okay, I want everyone to know. I was like, yo, that's my girl. I love her. And I was like, yo, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about something else. But then you was like, no, I want to talk about it.
I said I don't mind.
Okay.
Because it's a subject.
It is.
It
is.
And I'm still here, alive.
You are.
I didn't have to make it
and
through
killing
that.
it.
By the grace of God.
Yes. So, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, you had what some would say is one of the greatest opportunities in the world.
Yikes.
To go and sing for the President of the United States at that time, Donald Trump, at his, what do you call it?
Inauguration.
Oh, yeah.
Inaugural ball.
Inaugural ball.
Yeah.
Yes. You accepted. Not only you, but another good friend of mine, Travis Green, accepted it. And there's a lot of celebrities who actually worked with the president. And unfortunately, you were, maybe you and someone else, but you were one of the main ones that, unfortunately, the culture canceled. I just got to ask this question. How did you feel during that time? And how do you feel now?
Wow, feel. So at that time, I had run out of feelings already.
Okay.
I was in the industry for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I had to numb a lot of my feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
What happened after that or during that time was I got reintroduced to my feelings. I got to feel all the feelings I had ignored over the last 10 years. My therapist told me that if you ignore one feeling, then all of them take a hike. So I was so pushed to feel in that time that I finally found all of my feelings out of nowhere. And when I found those feelings, I began to realize how fearful I can be, especially as a celebrity, responsible or pressure I can feel, always wanting to answer things. And so I felt embarrassed that I had answered the question incorrectly. It was mortifying because calling up Jonathan McReynolds, Ty Tribbett, and Travis Green and saying, hey guys, let's recreate that thing we did for that gospel channel all those months ago. Right? And being like, we can make people feel better, right? Because the world is in an uproar right now. It was the wrong thing to do. That's embarrassing.
But why? I think for me, why was that the wrong thing to do?
Because of how it turned out. Sometimes things aren't wrong in the moment.
Right.
In the moment, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. You just don't know it yet.
Right.
Brush your teeth. You just don't know why, Cindy. You tell your kids to do stuff. They don't know why it's good yet. I thought, just give it a minute. We're going to talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
And Jesus saves.
Yeah.
And so if we bring that to this moment, it's going to fix something. Somebody's going to feel better. They didn't.
Wow.
And I have to know that.
Yeah.
I can't decide that they did when they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why it wasn't good, because it didn't work. It didn't work. And so I had to take a second look at my culture. I had to take a second look at my people. I had to take a second look at who had been supporting me for so many years and why they said, Chrissy, don't do that. Do you know what I mean? Because just because in my own self-righteousness, I thought something was going to work. If I was wrong, I need to figure out, well, where was I in my mind?
Wow.
That made me think that just because I say Jesus saves, everybody's going to be all right. How many times has somebody told you, come to church, and you ended up being hurt? Well, I contributed to a kind of church hurt. So I have to own that. And not do it again.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So during those 4 years, I mean, because it was a long journey. How was your process during those 4 years? Because you kind of did disappear a little bit. And what was going through your head And the reason why I'm asking these questions is because there's somebody out there who's experiencing something similar, just not on your level.
Yeah.
You know, embarrassed, church hurt, done wrong before. And I just want to just know, like, I want them to understand, okay, we've all been there. But I want to just get that, how are you feeling during that time? And then honestly, since we've been talking, like, you are, like, I can tell you're healed. How do we become healed after we're hurt by people?
Yeah, and I think life is a constant journey of healing. But
come on now.
I was never that famous. I'm about sick of people acting like I was some huge superstar who fell from glory. I was a regular everyday soul singer.
Are you really gonna say that?
I'm going to.
Are you really gonna say that?
My first album sold 23,000 copies. My #1 was the lowest selling #1 album of all time.
Just because it didn't sell a lot doesn't mean you were not...
Well, we have to deal with reality if we're going to talk about my experience. I wasn't that big of a deal.
You was!
I wasn't. People were calling me underrated. My shows are at cool, intimate, small venues. I'm a soul artist.
But some of the best artists are those artists.
I didn't say I wasn't talented.
Oh, I was about to say, don't play yourself now.
I didn't say I wasn't talented.
You can't come on the show.
I said I wasn't a huge superstar.
I got you.
Right? So the falling had to be a climb first. I had to wrap my mind around who people thought they were talking about. I was being treated like some big, huge mogul who did some big, huge thing.
Yeah.
I was a very small artist who did some big, huge thing.
Yeah.
I, too, was like, why'd you do that, Chrisette? Chrisette! And I had to find her.
Right. I
had to find who people thought they were talking to, because most of them weren't talking to the artist whose music they bought.
Wow.
Most of those people were talking to a Black woman who made a bad decision, whose music they'd never listened to.
Wow.
So I had to first figure out how to respond to my fans. The people who did buy music, the people who did have a vested interest. And the crazy thing about my fans was they stayed in the comments section and kept talking. They kept streaming music. As a matter of fact, my streaming began to do better than it had ever done. I gained 1 million followers on Facebook at that time.
Wow.
Because people wanted to talk to me
Yeah.
and understand, what the heck did you just do?
Right.
And then there was this other hateful sound who I also had to address.
Wow.
And I didn't know how to address that sound.
Wow.
And that's why I had to go away for a second.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to understand that sound too.
Yeah.
I didn't want that sound to make me bitter.
Yeah.
And make me leave forever.
Yeah.
So I figured if I could just get really quiet and get really observant, I could understand a whole new audience that I never knew.
Yeah.
You know? So that was the beginning of it, is who are these people? Who am I? And who do they think I am?
Yeah. Do you think you were your authentic self back then?
Yeah. But I was my authentic, evolving self.
Authentic, evolving
You
self.
know?
I like that. I like that. One of the things that I've learned and that I focus on is teaching people how to be their authentic selves everywhere. And I've had the opportunity to be on both sides of the world. My people who look like me and people who don't look like me. And on both sides, I eventually became what I think they wanted me to be rather than being my authentic self.
Okay. I always wanted to be a gospel singer. I never got that opportunity. That moment.
For real?
Yeah, that moment, my ego was on stage as a gospel artist. So when we talk about authenticity, the ugly part of me was the part of me that didn't feel like she was enough.
Wow.
Like she wasn't Christian enough. She wasn't good enough. And so if I stand by my brother Travis Green and we sing about God, maybe I can finally be this Christian I've wanted to be for all this time. That's a deep, dark secret. Ain't nobody saying that. You know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about authenticity, a part of me had a low self-esteem because I didn't feel like I was the best R&B singer. I felt like I was the best.
Wait.
Yeah.
But don't stay right there because I want people to hear this. Chrisette Michele just said you were still a name. But you still had low self-esteem.
Yeah, my friend Jonathan McReynolds told me the other day, he said there's two types of senses of self. There's the sense of self that knows who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And there's the sense of self that's confident enough to do what you're being asked to do. I'm very confident at being an R&B singer. I know I can pull that off, right? But there's a part of me that's a worshiper. There's a part of me that's been a worshiper since I was a kid, a worship leader, the director of the gospel choir in college. That part of me has never been seen.
Yeah.
And I remember every year before we would come out with the next album, I would say, well, can it be gospel? Can it at least be inspirational? And it wasn't a hard no. It was you can try it if you want to, but we're not going to put it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, when you're running from the opportunity that you actually have, you can sabotage your destiny when another opportunity comes along for you to be what you're lusting after.
Yeah.
And I always had this lust for being the most holy, the most good one.
Yeah.
And I think that a part of my journey, and maybe this moment won't be where I express it fully, but is like, God puts everybody somewhere to be a light somewhere. And we can't be so upset with where he's put us that we try and stand where we think will be what we're lusting after. Like, we don't, what if you already read every book in the library? Why are you going to college? So you could be the first one in your family with a degree? At what point do you just do what you've been given well?
Ooh.
And that moment was the moment where I realized, Chrisette, either you do this thing that God gave you or you make something else up. But if you make something else up, you're going to keep falling. So redesigning my life has been a journey of what has God given me that I've not been a good steward of,
Yo, what's going on, fam? Hey, do yourself a favor and take out your cell phones right now and text the word TABLE to 615-930-3431. That's right. I am giving you a private and exclusive number directly to myself and my entire team. We are dedicated to helping you reach all of your goals, especially your goals around your net worth, your network, and growing your number one business, your number one asset, and that's your mind. So what I'm gonna be doing weekly and sometimes daily, I'm gonna be texting you encouraging text messages, behind the scene footage, some special messages from some of my special guests that will be on the table, and also free and early access to some products and some tools and some resources that I have coming out here soon. So do yourself a favor right now, take out the phones and text the word TABLE to 615-930-3431. It's your boy, Anthony O'Neal. You already know I approve this message. Yo, if you just now tuned in, man, listen, welcome back. You're at the table. And I am really, really pumped about who's at the table with me today. My good friend, Chrisette Michele. Before we get back into today's conversation, I want to remind you all where I park my emergency fund. All right, you guys, I park it with Prize Pool. Okay. Don't forget that the average bank account gives you about 0.06% on interest on your savings account. Well, Prize Pool is going to give you 0.30%. That's 7.5 times higher than the average bank account out there, right? And what I love about that is Prize Pool didn't stop from right there. They also say, we're going to give you 0.30%, but then every single month we're going to do some grand prizes with like $10,000, $5,000, you name it. All you got to do is just park your emergency fund there. And I was just like, I absolutely love it. You guys know how I roll. I want you to get out of debt, and I want you to have a fully funded emergency fund. So this way, you can be prepared for when a storm comes, because storms do come. My mama always said, hey, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, and I want you to be prepared. So I parked my emergency fund at Prize Pool. I'm going to drop their information in the show description. Please go check them out. It's free. Just move your money over there. Get more money on your interest. And don't forget, we don't save to gain a lot of investment, okay? I want you to go on ahead and save, have your cash liquid, but while it's sitting there, get a little bit more money on the interest. So check it out in the show description below. But let's get back to the show because Chrisette is in here dropping just some wisdom with her soft voice. Y'all see how she gets soft? Yes. And then she'll just come, yeah, that's me. And so I love this conversation. And all right, so Chrisette, I love how you're keeping it very real. Like you're taking us on a journey right now, right? So how do we as a people, right? How do we begin the healing process?
We begin the healing process by laying ourselves out in front of us and taking a look at it. A lot of us, that means that we need to go to therapy and sit with somebody who it's safe for us to lay ourselves out in front of.
Yeah.
Because if we don't lay ourselves out, the altar, we can do that. We can do that through meditation. There's some place where we can lay ourselves out that are safe. If we don't do that, then we can't become good stewards of ourselves. And that's what I was lacking, was good stewardship.
Come on now.
Of what I'd been given, whether that's my voice, my culture.
Okay.
How many times do we see a community that we've been given and we don't steward it properly? And then we wonder why there's so much backlash and backbiting. So I know for sure that I was an awful steward of my culture. And the culture gave itself to me. Hip-hop gave itself to me. One hip-hop hook after the next. I didn't ask for any of those features. And every major hip-hop feature came from favor. And that culture came to me. And when it came, I didn't look at it as if it was mine. So we got to lay ourselves out on the table and take a look at what we've been given. And then we have to be brave enough to apologize here, mend this, read more about that, do some research.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing because it's who we are. So we're supposed to know ourselves.
Right.
We're supposed to know what we've been given. People are calling you R&B singer or author. And you mean to tell me I got to go back and study how to write this kind of a book?
Come on.
It's about stewardship. So I think healing comes from looking at ourselves and being a better steward of what we have.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, Chrisette. I'm trying not. I got you on the show today. I told my people I'm not going to do any teaching today. I'm just going to.
Oh, please. I love a good lesson.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because we're going to be here for 2-3 hours.
Okay.
But you know, it's so funny you said stewardship because. And some people get upset when I say this, right? But I believe that God has put me on this earth to marry a Black woman, to have Black kids, to steward my culture well.
Oh, wow.
I believe that God wants to use my family for an example on, hey, you can be Black, not a celebrity, not an athlete, but be wealthy, have freedom, have options, leave an inheritance for your children's children. Don't have any debt. And I think that oftentimes, I even feel like, am I stewarding my culture well?
What?
Because it's like, I'm gonna be real. It's like when I'm with my white family, my man, I get attacked from Black people. And I'm with Black people. Sometimes I get attacked from the white people. And I was telling that to my friend and mentor, Dave Ramsey, that, man, there's no side, but I feel on the inside of me, God has called me to all, but there is a special part of me that I feel as if I am called to minorities. I am called to show them, hey, we can be wealthy. We can have options. We can have freedom. We can wake up and not be bound by debt, not be in bondage, get our kids into college without debt. We can get married without debt and take our wives and our spouses wherever we want. We can be young, be hip, be cool, be wealthy without having to do what the culture, do what the world is saying. And so for me, I get hit sometimes. And I'm like, yo, okay, wait, God, am I right?
Right.
Am I wrong?
Right.
So when you said that, I'm like, I feel you. Like, I understand you because it's like, I just want to be that example and I want to steward this opportunity well. And I wake up every single day to teach people how to live their authentic lives, and they get into the space and place where God intended them to be. Because when we can get in that space and that place, that's where we can experience the freedom, the peace, the joy, the wealth, everything God intended us for us to have. And I believe if I can be that, I'm gonna say it on my show, that Black man for the Black community and all community, but for my Black people, I can help somebody.
I'm so proud of you. The part about space and place is what really threw me. Because when the healing was done,
wait.
and I had to finish looking at all of the pieces and decided and listened to how I would steward them, and some of them I'm still figuring out, I was immediately sent somewhere. Immediately. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. Right? And I could see the spirit of the place. I could see the types of people in the place. And I said, well, how am I gonna talk to these people? And he was like, well, you are these people, right? So I'm working on a book. It's called The Red Tape. And it's about all of the barriers that come between us and communicating with us.
Okay.
Whether those boundaries be because of the powers at the top, if you will, or if they are us. Are we our own red tape sometimes? So there's a chapter about us being our own red tape, but I'm excited because healing happened and action is occurring. And I think God honors you healing, listening, and taking action. So it might be a little scary, but I'm ready. I'm ready.
And this is coming out, what, I think you told me, January maybe?
I
something
think
like
the
that?
top of the year,
Yeah. This is going to be a good book. Yo, when we was on the phone, we had the show on the phone. I wish we could have just recorded that phone call because that was epic. But we were talking, I can't remember, but let's go there because I want people to remember this one. Because we were talking about how good, everyone talks about how good God is, but not how good they are.
Yeah, you almost started saying it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, am I allowed to say that?
I know. It's like, are we allowed to say that? Everyone says God is good. But is Anthony good? Is Chrisette good? I remember when Snoop Dogg, he went viral. He said, I want to thank me.
I remember that. It was good.
You know what I'm saying? I want to love me. Why do you think people... I understand why we reverence God. Let's be real, God is good.
Absolutely.
I don't want to take that away from him. But why is it fearful to talk about, or not just fearful, but are we good? Do we do good things? I think sometimes not. I don't.
I think we're afraid to command ourselves, and we have to command ourselves into goodness. We have to take God's good words and orchestrate those words with our physical being.
Yeah.
And so the goodness that we become makes manifest the kingdom.
Yeah.
So we have to be good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't do what God says, right? So I was made specifically to manifest what God says.
Come on.
And so I have to call myself what God calls me.
Come on.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why I stopped blaming everything on God. Right? It's like, oh man, I can't believe. Well, why can't you? Did you make up your bed this month? I didn't feel like it. Well, I didn't feel like it. Is the reason. Is a lack of commanding.
Come on.
It's a lack of commanding.
So some of us are just lazy. That's what you're saying.
Some of us don't know that we will listen. We don't know we'll listen. So the challenge is, what do you want to say to yourself? Let's start there. What do I want? I wanted to say to myself, I am not depressed. I just wanted to do that. I probably was depressed. But I started where I wanted. I want to say that I'm happy, right? Let me just start there.
Right.
Now let me see what happens if I look in the mirror and I'm happy.
Whatever.
Your body starts coming up with things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You start coming. You paint the wall pink.
Yeah.
You buy new shampoo, new stuff for the bathtub. You start manifesting these things, and if you listen, if you can get quiet enough, one of the chapters in the Red Tape is about prayer and meditation.
Okay.
To get quiet enough to just sit underneath the presence of God. Make him comfortable. See how you just light a candle. I know what you got to do to make God comfortable. In your house, my house, I light a candle.
You light a candle.
I light a candle.
I cut off all the lights.
Cut off all the lights. Did you do something?
Yes.
Joyce Meyer talks about that in one of her books.
Yeah.
But how can you get him comfortable enough to come and hang out with you?
Wow.
Right? And you listen, I'm having this desire to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to instruct myself on how to do it.
Yeah.
Can you give me the words to tell my body to manifest this happiness? It took me years for some things, years of certain prayers. God, I just don't know what to tell myself. I want to lose weight, but my body is just not, it's not. Finally, I heard somebody say, don't eat. I said, oh, there it is. 20 pounds, gone. You'll listen. You'll listen.
But you got to say it. You got to do it.
Yeah, you got to be brave. You got to be brave. I always joke and I say, the number one reason why people don't got the Holy Ghost is because they're afraid of ghosts. They afraid that they're going to be listening to something that they can't see. It'll tell you what to do.
But you can't see it.
You just can't see it. Don't be afraid of ghosts.
Yo, Chrisette, you talking about you nervous? Yo, you spitting this fire right
I told you
now.
I like to talk. I'm just the camera.
Yo, so what else is in this book? I mean, because I can tell you've been on a journey. God has worked through you and in you, and it's coming out of you right now. What's in this book? What else is in this book? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna get it. Actually, I want an advanced copy.
Thank you. I'll send you a manuscript. It's full. One of the main things, though, is about how I'm from New York.
Okay, yeah.
And in New York, they say New Yorkers are mean, right? And so after everything happened with the inauguration debacle, I said, I want to really get to know the part of Black America that I wasn't around growing up.
What was that?
So as a New Yorker, I was around New Yorker,
right.
Black America. I never was around in the same vicinity as Southern Americans. I didn't grow up in Atlanta. I didn't grow up in the South.
That's all I know.
It's all you know.
Right.
And so there was a disconnect in the language between the North and the South.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get in the middle of it and hear it.
Yeah.
Because people were telling me that I was hated by this place called Black Twitter. I had to go find Black Twitter. I said, I'm from New York. Black Twitter, where you at? Where you at?
You confronting it. Like, what's good?
I had to confront it. Now, I didn't use words. I just used my observation.
Yeah.
Got a penthouse and looked at it from up here first.
Yeah.
And I got down, started going to the church. I went to church, and then I got down a little bit. I started going to the studio.
Yeah.
And little by little, I began to become familiarized with just another part of America that I didn't live in. We don't cut anybody any grace or slack for not understanding each other. We're so mean if one person doesn't understand what we said.
Yeah.
And just because I'm from New York and you're from the South doesn't mean that we can't communicate.
That's true.
But you can't be mean to me if I don't understand that first. And so I said, let me stop being a baby about it. Let me just get right in there. And I wanted to cut through the red tape in my life between the North and the South. So there's a chapter in the book about that experience. And the beginning of that chapter talks about me getting into an elevator in Atlanta, and I'm with my assistant who is from just around Savannah. And we're like, man, I wish people in the elevator would say hello. So in comes a girl, I say, hello. And I look at my assistant because she doesn't say hello. I said, see, that's what I mean. So the lady in the elevator hits the button. She goes, where are you from? I said, New York. She goes, New Yorkers are mean. I was like, so that's how that chapter opens, and it moves into learning how to say hello in Atlanta.
Yo, we're gonna need this book. Yeah. Before we go, man, because we can talk all day long. I mean, you have a wealth of knowledge. What are you working on right now? I know you just did something with Nick Cannon.
Oh, we did a movie.
Y'all did a movie.
Yes, I got the lead role in his movie Miracles off 125th Street.
When does that come out? So it's not like a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas time movie.
Wow.
So much thinking fun. A lot of awesome hip hop artists and actors in it. So you've got Lil' Kim and Jim Jones.
Oh, man.
And then you've got Lunel, you've got Kiara Sheard, you have Karen Clark. So it's just a really, really fun family of people.
That's so
Fred
cool.
Hammond was in there.
Fred Hammond.
Tiana Taylor. It's a really, really fun movie. And then I'm working on some music. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, wait. R&B or gospel or jazz?
So it's American.
What? Wait, what?
Right. Right. You see what I'm saying?
What's American?
So American music is music that stays specific to a certain amount of chord structures.
Okay.
It's very singable, very obvious. The melodies are obvious. Everybody can get into it.
So even like people like me who can't sing, we can get into it.
Yeah, it's the clap your hands, everybody kind of music. I figured if I was going to sing again, since I've met all these different people now, and I've kind of cut as much red tape as I can, outside of the media space, which I'd love your advice there. Let's see if I can put some songs together that everybody can sing.
Everyone can rock with.
So the first song is called Traitor. And obviously it's kind of a play on words.
Yeah.
But it just talks about how I loved you so much.
Yeah.
And you cut me. You cut me. I want to forgive you. Is it okay? Can I forgive you? Because if I forgive you, I'm gonna love you again. You know, that's who I am as a person. It's like, we good? That's what I want to say to my people. Guys, can I come to the barbecue, please?
Oh man.
You know?
New album. New movie.
New movie.
God is doing new things.
Yeah.
Good things.
Yeah, he's good.
And there was something else. You promote a lot on your IG clothes. You have a fashion line?
I have a boutique, an online boutique.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a brick and mortar boutique in New York before the pandemic.
Okay.
And we stopped, and then we started back up online. So it's called Moody.
Moody.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. I was like, yo, she been modeling a lot of these dresses. So that's what's up. So what kind of dresses for my people? Because I want y'all to go support. We're gonna drop this in the show description. What can they get online?
Moody by Chrisette Michele. First of all, I'm a big advocate for mental health. So Moody is a play on, it's a play on just moodiness.
Yeah.
And that's owning the fact that, sis.
How much time I got? Okay, I got a little bit of time. We'll come back to Moody. Let's talk about mental health for Black people. Why do you think we struggle with accepting therapy? I'll be honest. I struggled with accepting it. When I was engaged, now about 7 years ago, about 6, 7 years ago. And as soon as I got out of my engagement, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie. I was, if I can curse on my show, I was effed up. And I jumped right into another situation, started dating. And then I just said, you know what? I'm not healthy mentally. Like, I'm healthy, but I need help. I need to process this.
Yeah.
And I literally, because right when me and my ex-fiance broke up, I had just transitioned into a new season of my life. And I'm around no one, no family, no friends. 95% of people didn't look like me, didn't understand some of the things that from my culture, our culture, that I loved. And then I just broke up with the only person that understood me. And so
You felt like she understood you even when you guys parted ways?
No.
Okay.
Because I learned that she didn't.
Gotcha.
But at the time, I felt like she did.
I understand.
And so when we parted ways, I was like, yo, that's my whole world. I'm in a brand new city, no family, no friends that really understand me. You know, I'm having to play both sides of the world. Like, I'm giving everyone different parts of me, but I never really gave myself me.
Yeah.
And I said, I need help.
Yeah.
And one of my mentors said, you need to go see a therapist. And it was a spiritual mentor. He said, hey, I can do all the prayer for you, but boy, you need to go see a mental someone help you with your thought process and why you're thinking the way you're thinking, because you are going through a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to go see a therapist. I'm not sick. I'm good. I'm hurt. But I will tell you no lie. I've never said this anywhere, But the first day I walked in, I fought it. Went home. God said, if you fight it, you're only hurting yourself. The second day I went back, I cried like I was a 2-year-old kid. And I haven't made all the right decisions since then, but I've made some better decisions because of therapy.
Yeah.
How do we make therapy sexy, cool, popular, and it's not a negative thing? Because I believe, I'm gonna speak for me, I believe that all Black men need to go see a therapist.
Don't be afraid to experience a short season of being misunderstood, because the beginning of therapy is being completely not understood. If you can sit through that first few sessions of just somebody having no idea who you are, but you're still talking. Well, I like this and I like that. Well, tell me a little bit. You have to get through that initial season of not being understood.
Wow.
If you can get through that, then in a little while, all of you is going to be on the table. And then you can become what we talked about, a good steward of yourself. But you're going to have to allow somebody to not understand you for a few minutes.
That's good.
That's uncomfortable. Why? Because you don't understand yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? And you're upset about that. Now there's two people who don't understand you. But cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what I recommend for people who are trying to figure out how to think.
Right, okay.
Think through this life. Cognitive behavioral therapy is going to ask you to be misunderstood for a few minutes. And after you get that misunderstood part where you're just awkward and you feel like nobody knows you, your therapist doesn't get it, they got it. They studied for years to get it.
Yep.
You're gonna have to trust that once you get enough out, they're gonna help you steward it well, right?
Be uncomfortable so you can get back to a comfort place.
Man, it's so awkward.
It is.
Right, and they're writing in the pad.
Absolutely. And they're quiet.
They don't look like you exactly.
Yep.
They're not your auntie.
No. They're not even saying the things that you want them to say.
I had to learn how to think. And then, God forbid, I also had ADHD. I had just been diagnosed with adult ADHD right in the last 4 years.
Wow.
And then to sit in front of a therapist, being this person who, I can't sit still for a long time. I don't have enough time to tell you everything because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
She taught me how to think. That's what cognitive behavioral therapy did for me. There's psychiatry, too. You know?
Ooh. Y'all, listen here. This is Chrisette Michele. I'm calling her Chrissy now. This is Chrissy, okay? Talking about she nervous. No. Listen, back to Moody. I'm going to drop, for the ladies, that in the show description. I want you all to support her. I'm going to drop all her social media information where you can go to her online boutique. Her dresses are fire. So I want y'all to go support her tribe members. I mean that. She flew in all the way from where she's living at right now just to sit down and chill out with your boy. And so I want y'all to say thank you by supporting her, following her. Let's stream her music. Let's show her we don't cancel our own. And when I say our own, I'm not talking about Black people. I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about, no, we don't cancel people who love people. We don't cancel our brothers and sisters in Christ. And I wanted to support Chrisette Michele, so I'm gonna link all of her stuff below. Go check her out. If you like some of her clothes, buy it. If you love her music, stream it. Buy the music. And when she comes out with the book, buy the book because she's gonna bless you. If you have not seen, the woman is not just a fabulous singer, but she has depth in her mind. So check her out, you guys. Anything else you wanna leave with? Here she
No,
goes.
not
She
today.
thinking.
Not today.
She thinking.
Not
She's
today.
coming back, y'all.
Not today.
I may even make her my co-host. You never know.
Gratitude.
Yo, it's your boy Anthony O'Neal. The train is coming by. You can tell I'm at the crib, but it's all good. Thank you all so much for rocking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast. And you never know what we got coming up next week. We got some good stuff coming up. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
What's happening? No capping. We with AO, about to get a plate. Oh, pull up to the table. Let's go.